Well, it's a beautiful day in London. I'm here at my brother's house in London, and I couldn't be happier
Welcome.
recording this next episode of The Unfinished Human at my brother's home. I wrote something for you, a piece for you, and I wanted to share this with you in person rather than over our WhatsApp chat and all that.
Thank you.
So I think today is a good moment to share that. And whatever I wrote it from heart, and I genuinely mean every single word of it. And I've titled it My Soul Brother. And here it goes. The friend, the brother who came later but means everything. He did not grow up with me, but the moment you entered my life, it felt like he'd always been there. No long history, no long childhood memories, just an instant, effortless bond. He's the one you trust without overthinking, who never drains your energy, and who became your safe place without even trying. Now, the life without him, unimaginable. Because some friendship graduate to rarity of brotherhood and soulful connection. It isn't about how long you've known each other, they're about how deeply you feel seen, understood, and loved. And I have got only deep sense of gratitude, bro, for having met you and every single step that we are taking to discover the cause and moving closer to the purpose of life. I'm just grateful. And as I said, everything that I wrote here, I wrote it with full integrity, and I mean every single one of them. So why don't we talk about, I don't know, gratitude today? Let's start with that. It's such a important, I suppose, what do you call it? A strength? I don't even know how to, but
I don't know.
you know, it's something so important in your life, right? That for me, gratitude is about being joyful, being appreciative of what you have, and the more grateful you are, the more you'll get things to be grateful for, or people or situations to be grateful for, right? So yeah, let's start with gratitude.
First of all, I'm immensely grateful for you as a brother, and I know you're determined to make me cry when you're filming.
At some point. I haven't succeeded yet.
Yeah. So this is the way I feel, right? And I can't maybe articulate it well, but we happen to be on a very mediocre planet Earth, which is on the outskirts of some mediocre galaxy, Milky Galaxy.
The way you say mediocre, I'm like, that's an immense world. I can't even understand. But
and we're orbiting around a sort of a smallish star.
Yes.
They call it the red dwarf because the sun is just such a shorty, small sort of star. And so from in galactic terms, we are not that special. We are like a planet orbiting some small star. When you think, as far as we know, as far as we can see, there isn't a single grass growing anywhere else out there in space, as far as we know, right? Let alone an ant or a spider, some form of life, even bacteria.
Yes.
Nothing but ice and rocks out there. And yet on this planet, life is just flourishing and giving without any kind of calculations or cost or anything. It just gives, and then to become humans at the top of that, evolution, if you like, that must have taken many years.
Yeah.
And then to feel what we feel and the spiritual dimension, which is not material, and to think every day we wake up, we have this opportunity to experience this amazing thing, which when you think with your when you think with your head and when you feel with your heart, it's like winning the lottery every minute of every day rather than once in a lifetime, because that's what the odds are.
Yes.
I think there's room for gratefulness and go, I am here, I am breathing, I am observing, I'm experiencing, and that on its own, let alone living in an affluent, circumstances, if that's the case or whatever. Just the breath you take, the odds for that happening is wild. So I'm, I really feel that, and for that, I really feel grateful just for that. And then you add a brother and wife, loving wife, and children and friends and everything else on top of that. It's just bonus after bonus, right?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, you articulated it very well, right? Gratefulness, being grateful, gratitude, having sense of gratitude is not a lofty feeling. It is something that holds deeper connection to the sole purpose of your existence. And you've got to be grateful for something, right? Whether it be, I don't know, maybe grateful for the mansion that one lives in or drives a fancy car, etc., right? But I think everybody needs to be grateful for something that they have, just simply understanding the interdependence between us as humans, but also with the nature, right? There's every time I look, and I'm so grateful that I live in a part of the world where I'm so close to the nature. You've been to my house, and every time I look at the nature, right, the trees, one of the things I constantly remind myself is that interdependence. What I'm breathing out, the tree is breathing in. What that tree is breathing out, I'm breathing in. And to your point about the mediocre galaxy that we are in, which is just like quite vast, and I don't think there is any explanation behind it. Yes, there are some different theories and science behind it, and I'm not against it, right? These are driven by facts. But what I'm trying to say is, in this grand, like intergalactical experience that we live in, being grateful is such simple yet such powerful mindset that gives you, it's not going to take away your pain and your responsibilities, but it is definitely going to make sure that you don't break down in the process. It's definitely going to give you endurance in that journey, right? And hence I wrote this piece, like having that opportunity to find someone, but then build that relationship is just rare in this sort of the tiny dot of the planet that we live in.
An extra lottery on top of everything you've won already.
As you said earlier, really grateful to have abundance of love and peace in my family. Beautiful wife, amazing children, learning from them every day. And then you've won a lottery where you found a soul brother who not just thinks like you, but understands you, but can also course correct you as well, right?
And vice versa, by the way. You give me all of those things, right?
So yeah. So that's really good. I'd love you to say, you are a well of a knowledge and Rumi poetry and all that.
No, that's not true.
Nah, everybody can learn, like something from everybody anyways. But I'd love you to share your, from one of your, Rumi poems that you have. Love
You really want to do this?
Yes.
You want to get into
I love him, by the way, right? The 13th century poet and the spiritual leader. I think he was ahead of his time. But they say, right, if you're looking for wisdom, go read an old book. And that's how I see Rumi as well. So
Yeah, I mean,
anything that is related to gratitude,
yeah,
etc. Any
yeah.
poem,
I can read you a poem. Obviously, it'll be in Persian, and
I
then I'll have to
love
do
it. I like.
really bad live translation of that, and there'll be a
Well,
bunch
hey,
of
we are
critics saying,
unfinished
"Hey,
humans, right?
we are unfinished human,"
Yeah.
and that needs to be
Yes.
reminded. You know,
Yeah.
we need to remind people of that.
I love Persian language, by the way, and hence I want you to
I
do it
love
in Persian.
Nepali. I'm going to learn Nepali. Yeah, I already know how to say thank you, Dhanyavad. You know, yeah.
Go on, bro.
So yeah, let me do a poem for you.
Oh, I can't wait.
حیلت رها کن عاشقا، دیوانه شو دیوانه شو، من در دل آتش درآ، پروانه شو پروانه شو. هم خویش را بیگانه کن، هم خانه را ویرانه کن، وانگه بیا با عاشقان همخانه شو همخانه شو. رو سینه را چون سینه ها هفتاب شو از کینه ها، وانگه شراب عشق را پیمانه شو پیمانه شو. باید که جمله جان شوی تا لایق جانان شوی، گر سوی مستان می روی مستانه شو مستانه شو. اندیشه جایی رود وانگه تو را آنجا کشد، زندیشه بگذر چون قضا پیشانه شو پیشانه شو. قفلی بود میل و هوا بنهاده بر دلهای ما، مفتاح شو مفتاح را دندانه شو دندانه شو. شکرانه دادی عشق را از تحفه ها و مال ها، هل مال را خود را بده، شکرانه شو شکرانه شو. ای ناطقه بر بام و در تا کی روی در خانه پر، نطق زبان را ترک کن، بیچانه شو بیچانه شو.
Wow, I did not understand the word, but that felt deep, right? And I think the way you recite it as well, the voice, and I know you're going to translate it, but we're sitting next to your garden. I could hear the birds chirping, the sound of the nature, and then the deepness of your voice, the sentiments, the emotions, and then you're reading this
Thank you,
poem
bro.
in
Thank you.
Persian. I just felt like I connected to it, like I was almost levitating in that
Yes.
sense. But
Yeah.
would love you to
Probably felt
translate
the
that,
energy,
bro.
yeah. I'm going to do a very bad job of translating because I haven't prepared anything. I'm just
Yeah.
going to do it live, but I'm just going to try to
that's good.
transfer. It's
Yeah.
unfinished, right? It's
And
going to be
it means it's
work in
genuine,
progress.
right?
It is
So-
absolutely. So in the first verse, Rumi is saying, leave your intellect and trickery, solution finding mind alone. Lose your sanity, lose your sanity. And just like a butterfly who's attracted to fire, come to the fire, come to the fire. Don't fear the fire, that fire that you're attracted to, but you fear, make the jump, and the fire will not burn you. You have a self. Oh, that's Lychee, my dog, which we should also introduce, by the way.
Yes.
You have a self. You think you have a self. You've created this identity of yourself.
Yeah.
Make that self a stranger. Become a stranger with that self. And you've built a house of this identity, a concrete house of this identity. Break down that house. Demolish that house, which is imprisoning you within this house you've created. And only then can you become a roommate with the drunkens and the lovers. There's a little bit of irony here because clearly you've demolished the house, you're homeless, but only then you can become a roommate, a flatmate, a housemate with the intoxicated, drunken with wisdom and love, by the way. This is not drunken with alcohol, drunken with wisdom and love, only then you can become a person who can understand and sort of have friendship with these kind of people, with the spiritual people. But those are the conditions. You become a stranger to yourself and you demolish the house that's imprisoning you. And then the third instruction is your chest, your heart is full of grudges. You need to absolutely polish all the grudges one by one until your heart is as clear as a mirror. And only then you could be the chalice within which the God loves wisdom and the wine, so to speak, in this context, can fit. But the condition to accept that, to become an empty cup, is to get rid of all grudges, one by one. And then you become the chalice. You have to become all soul, all spirit. That's what that poem is there, by the way, in our living room. You have to become all spirit and all soul to be worthy of the spirit, of the soul of souls, which is the universe, the God, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. But if you want to be worthy of getting to know, becoming one, the unity, the love, you have got to become a soul. Ego, body, material stuff, for that moment that you want unity, they have to be parked someplace else. This is about, the next one is about the thought. It says, your thought travels to a place and then immediately it pulls you behind it. Your thought travels to a place, immediately pulls you behind it. You are chasing a random thought, which is a creation of your mind, left, right, and center, chasing a ghost that your mind generated, and you're there behind this ghost. You have got to overtake the thought, the speed of thought. You have got to let go of the thought and overtake the thought and become present like the fate, like events that happen. Things happen, you have to be as fast as that. You can't be thinking about things, which means you have to be now, here and now and all the time. Don't chase those thoughts. Have you seen this? Like you think about something, suddenly you have an argument with somebody. I mean, it hasn't happened. It's just a thought. But you're there. You're in that situation. You're fighting with somebody. You're smiling at someone. You're having a conversation with someone. You're just chasing a ghost.
Absolutely. A thought can create a grandeur of invention, but it can also, create a mind that is just full of malice and destroy everything and sabotage everything that you have, including self as well.
Absolutely. Right? You make a really good point, because he's not saying don't use thought or mind. He's saying make sure that you're in charge of thought and mind and it's not using you. Because sometimes you're in charge. It's absolutely when the innovation, the inventions, all of those good things come from you using your mind like a tool, like a sharp knife. You want it to be sharp, right? You want it to work. But if the mind is in charge and random thoughts are coming and you're chasing, that's what kind of needs to stop. The next one is about attachment.
Oh, this is going to be good.
It's saying your attachment, your desires, your needs and wants are like a massive lock. Which has basically locked your heart and soul. It's a massive, invisible, giant lock on your heart and soul. Those are your attachment. The shackles, if you like, that are pulling you down when you're trying to fly. Every attachment. Recommendation is, Rumi's recommendation, become a key.
To the
Become a
lock.
key to the lock.
Yeah.
So you can open these attachments and become detached. So you can fly. So you can be free. So you can achieve mukti. If you can't do that, if it's too hard to become the whole lock, try to become the little teeth on the lock. You know, they have the bitings. Become one of those. Try. Just try, because it realizes it might be quite difficult to become the whole key. But just try to become one of those little tooth things on the key that will open the lock at some point. He says, you're doing very good things. You give out of kindness and compassion to others in the name of God, in the name of love, in the name of compassion. Those are wonderful things. Do those. But if you want to get enlightened and awaken and become one, you have to give yourself. That's the ultimate gift. And you give yourself through detachment, through awareness, through everything that's just, kind of been said. Finally, he says to himself, you've spoken too much. You've said too much. You, the speaker, to himself, you are going on the roof and shouting from the rooftops. Until when are you going to do that? Leave speech alone, become silent. Leave speech alone and become silence. For only in silence you can achieve all of those things above.
Wow. I didn't want it to end, but such a beautiful way of living a life, mentioned in that poem. And some of the things that I picked up was, you're born, then you start building an identity, right? That identity then gives you an intellectual sort of, puts you in an intellectual position.
Yes.
That drives your thought. That thought drives your ego. But where ego dies, soul, emerges. Yeah. The soul self emerges. But that thought then triggers you or leads you towards attachment, and that attachment can lead to, further, I suppose, challenges that you face in life. But then if you just stay in peace, in that, spend some time in that silence, in that solitude, and monitor all of this, and almost talk back to it in your solitude, right? You'll be able to take control of it, and then, or at least you'll be able to become more aware, build an intelligence around it, and then act accordingly as to what's next. That's kind of like what I was understanding. And I loved what you mentioned about the lock and the key and the attachment. And I think there is, and the, who do you want to become, right? Key or the lock as well. There's something in Bhagavad Gita, the Arjuna and Krishna
Yes.
moment. I know you love it,
Yes.
right? And we're not going to discuss that today, but of all the yogs, there is something called Brahma Yoga, which means devotion, basically. What you are devoted towards is what you become, right? If you're devoted in becoming a lock,
Yes.
because your identity, your ego, your thought is saying, no, you have to be that lock, you have to present with that, that kind of self, you will come across like that.
Yes.
But if your devotion is, I want to be the key to unlock how this world should be, whoever I interact with, whatever situation I come across, I'm going to make sure that I'm the key to this situation, right? I kind of understood that link
Yeah.
is as well.
Yes, indeed.
And the whole point about attachment, and we're going to pick this up in another one, is I think people have this misconception about attachment, and particularly around detachment as well. People think that being detached means you've got to be a saint, meditating
Monk
in,
with
like
nothing.
5,000 feet above, and aloof from this beautiful world that you live in, right? Including the materialistic, like gains that you gain along the pathway. Surely you and I've, seen some of those in our lifetime as well, right? People think, and probably some people listening to us, like, look at these two talking about this, right? They are going through their careers in their life, and yet here they're talking about detachment and all that. Who are they to talk about detachment? But I really want to unpack this in our next talk, whenever we record it.
Yeah.
Right? It does not have to be next episode, but detachment is not about, and this is from Bhagavad Gita as well, right? And it, Bhagavad Gita is a, there's a misconception of Bhagavad Gita as well. I grew up in that part of the world thinking it was a religious book, untouchable,
Yes.
right? But what a myth that is, right? and now that it's available in so many languages, and having read the book, in ancient times, the conversation between these two characters, Krishna and Arjuna, has unlocked how you should be leading life. And it talks about detachment, and it explains detachment in such a beautiful way, bro. I have never had anybody explain to me what detachment. In fact, it also took me out of that misconception that I had as a being in this world, and having that misunderstanding of what it means, right? And it just says detachment does not mean you don't own anything. Detachment means that you don't let anything own you. So enjoy, You've been given a nice house, you've been given a nice car, enjoy. You've been given a nice job, enjoy, because the universe wants you to have it, right? But then that's where the purpose comes out. That's where the gratitude comes out. And, purpose, as you said about taking and giving, the purpose, when you are purposeful, you realize that it's not all about taking, it's about giving value to others, whether it be nature, whether it be another being, whether it be another, situation. If you're understanding that dance between give and take, then you are purposeful. And gratitude simply means, for me, it's like, I am going to navigate this world being attached to everything, but at the same time detached from everything as well. And walking that thin line, whatever the universe gives me, I'm going to appreciate that, be it good or bad, because we also have the tendency of only being grateful when good things happen. That's not what it is. You might be in the middle of a problem, but you just have to be grateful that at least I'm breathing and I can challenge this now, right? At least I've got a brother who I can consult with, and then take second, 10th attempt at it. Just being grateful for that.
Just the opportunity to have life, to have a challenge to deal with and learn and grow.
Yes.
Because you can only grow through challenges. Otherwise, up in the mountains, sitting up there with nothing happening, you won't grow as much as you think. So I mean, we should really talk about Bhagavad Gita. You should open up Arjuna and Krishna conversation. I'd love to.
Let's do it.
Really,
let's do
honestly.
Maybe next one. Let's do it, right?
Yeah, we do a bit of Arjuna and.
But let's bring it to closer, right? It's this episode is so gratitude. I'm somebody that is always grateful for everything, right? Good, bad, not so good, whatever, however we want to label it. Because for me, gratitude gives me that endurance, that resilience to go through whatever I'm going through without breaking down if situations are not good or stepping into unknowns. And when situations are going good, gratitude is also giving me that feeling of being grounded to keeping my ego in check, saying, look, that thought,
Yes.
that identity, that ego, keep it in check.
Keep it in check. It's a ghost. You're chasing a ghost.
Right.
And you're creating a ghostbuster to go after a ghost, which is all,
Yes.
nonsense. So at least one potential voice that you can sometimes take seriously, sometimes not. But yeah, that's exactly it.
So, again, not just one, but two unfinished humans. I
Oh,
hope nobody's listening, but if you
Yeah.
are,
Sorry
just
to hear that.
remind yourself, take a moment, as Sarok mentioned earlier, take a moment in that silence and just answer to yourself, right, in your head. What is the purpose of your life? What is your purpose today? And what are you grateful for as well?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm grateful for you today, bro.
Likewise,
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you.
Thank you.
And yeah, and I'm grateful for this journey that we're sharing together.
Indeed, yeah.
Thank you very much. Take care.